Yes. Ó wá bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó déwájú.
Tí ẹ bá fẹ́ mute wọn, question wọn kó jẹ́ towards the end of the lesson.
Máa ṣe.
Okay.
Participants, let me now mute all. Yes, so I've muted everyone. They are already online. Already.
For 6 minutes. Láti dá ìmọ̀ràn jọ sílẹ̀ for JSS 1 to 2 to 3 ni. Okay. Okay. So from here you see màá lọ sí slide show.
They are hearing you if you choose to talk.
Okay.
They are hearing you already.
Okay. All right.
Just one, right?
Yeah.
Let me join to you and show you the way it is.
Farida Arasi. Okay. No, why not Mr. Kenny? You're on Willie. Okay, how are you doing? Private Kenny Nele. No. Okay, so I cannot go to everyone until maybe somebody does not private chat.
Yes. Those are the number of people that are still online.
I understand what you so. You're on Willie.
When you are ready, you can start.
Okay. All right.
Okay. This is what they are saying.
Okay.
Say that again.
Okay. Connector. Good morning, all. How are you all this morning? I want to believe you've been enjoying your stay at home. Right, let's go to today's topic. Before I start today's lesson, I would like to refresh your memory on our last topic. For JSS1, we talked about classification of crops based on their lifespan, and we also talked about plant form. Under plant forms, we have two types of plant forms, which are monocotyledons and dicotyledons. If you can remember, I told you that monocotyledons are crops that have just one seed leaf or one cotyledon. Cotyledon is the same thing as seed leaf. And examples of monocot are maize, millet, rice, oats, wheat, barley, sugarcane. Generally, monocot belongs to grass plant family, and their leaves are mainly narrow. They don't have broad leaves compared to dicotyledons. Then monocotyledons, they do not have taproot. They only have fibrous root system. Then what are dicotyledons? I told you the last time we met that dicotyledons are the crop plants that have two seed leaves or two cotyledons. I want you to take note of one thing. Dicotyledons are not plants that have more than two seed leaves. They only have two seed leaves. So don't make the mistake of saying dicotyledons are plants with more than two seed leaves. Now, examples of dicotyledons are beans, groundnut, soya beans, cocoa, mango, and so on and so forth. Then the other subtopic we treated last was classification of crops based on their lifespan or their life cycle. Under that, we have three types. The first one is annual crops, the second one biennial crops, and the third one perennial crops. Annual crops are the crops that spend or they mature, when they germinate and mature within one planting season. And like I told you, I said that in agriculture or in crop production, one planting season means 3 months, or you can say between 3 and 4 months. They will germinate, mature, and you harvest them. Either you harvest the fruits or you don't. After the 4th month, such crops will die. Examples of annual crops are maize, rice, millet, and then sorghum. Then the second class based on life cycle is biennial crops. Bi means 2. So biennial crops are the crops that spend 2 planting seasons between germination and maturity. So in agricultural science or under crop production, 2 planting seasons is between 6 and 8 months. They germinate, they produce fruits, the fruits mature, and you harvest them within 8 months. Examples of biennial crops, you have your cassava and you also have carrots. Then the third group is perennial crops. Perennial crops are also called permanent crops, or they are called tree crops. This can spend up to 10 years. Some of them spend more than that, like your oil palm tree, orange tree, mango tree, cocoa, rubber, timber, kola nut, perennial. They spend a long period of time before they die. So some of these perennial crops can also spend up to 20, 25 years. Now let's go to today's topic. Still on classification of crops. but today it is based on their uses. What are they used for? From this picture here, you can see some crops. I have fruits, I have vegetables, I have tuber crops, I have condiment or what we call spice crops here. These are some of the uses of plant crops. Objectives of today's lesson. At the end of this lesson, there are 3 things at least that I want you to achieve. The first one is you should be able to name the 2 classes of crops based on their uses. Name just 2 for me. Then the second objective is give me 3 examples of food crops. Then the third one should be able to give me 2 examples of cereals. Classification of crops based on their uses. There are so many classes of crops. We have up to 8 classes of crops. The first one here is called the food crops. Food crops. Food are what we feed on. Food are things we consume to sustain us. So basically, food crops, the first example of food crops here is the cereals. When I talk about cereals here, I'm not talking about your Cocoa Pops, I'm not talking about your cornflakes, and I'm not talking about your Golden Morn. Cereal or cereal crops, they belong to the family of grass. They are also known as grain crops. Examples are wheat, maize, barley, oats, sorghum, millet. I mentioned some foods taken as cereals earlier on, like the Golden Morn, the Cocoa Pops. The raw material of this food are what we refer to as cereal crops. Like your Golden Morn, it is made from maize. And we also have a particular brand of Golden Morn that is made from millet. Cocoa Pops, how do they manufacture or how do they produce it? The raw material is from cereals too. Then we have custard made from maize, yellow maize. We have our oats made from the oat grains. So wheat, maize, rice, sorghum, millet are all examples of cereals. And remember, they belong to what we call the grass family. This picture shows the grains of rice before it is being winnowed or husked. You still have it with the husk covered it. But this is the way they harvest rice directly from the farm. Then the second class of crops based on the uses is what we call the pulses. Generally, we refer to pulses as legumes. Pulses are grains in pods. They are edible. We can eat them boiled, roasted, depending on your own choice. Examples of pulses are the normal beans we eat. We refer to that as cowpea. Then we have the soya beans, we have groundnuts, we have green peas, we have kidney peas. These are all examples of pulses or legumes. The picture here is a picture of groundnut seed. They've been removed from the pods, so you can't see the pods here because they've been separated from the pods for our consumption. So pulses is the same thing as legumes. They produce edible grains that are stored in pods. But you cannot eat your pulses along with the pods. So that's why they separate them before they bring them to market for sale. Another example of food crop is tuber crops. Under tuber crops, we have the stem tubers and we have the root tubers. Tuber crops are the crops that store their foods in the roots or in their stems. You uproot them from the soil, you cut off the tuber or the stem crop from them. Examples of tuber crops are yam, cocoyam, potato, cassava, and carrot. But these tuber crops are classified into 2 groups. We have the stem tubers. and we also have the root tubers. But generally, they are all tubers, but stem tubers are different from root tubers. Examples of stem tubers are the yam, the cocoa yam, and potato. Then examples of the root tubers are cassava and carrot. I would suggest that for it to be easier for you to differentiate between stem tubers and root tubers, you can use this acronym for root tubers, RCC. R stands for root tubers, and the C, the first C stands for cassava, while the second C stands for carrot, for you to be able to differentiate in case you are being asked in the exam. Therefore, stem tubers, you have the yam, the cocoa yam, and potato. On the slide is a picture of cassava tubers here, harvested directly from the farm. Then the second slide shows cassava tuber as well, and you see the plant or the stems around with the leaves. This is the way cassava plant looks like. Then another example of food crops is the fruits. I want to believe you all like fruits. Everyone likes fruit. Everybody likes fruit. What are fruits? They are the crops that produce succulent fruits, which are eaten raw. Succulent, they contain water. They're not that hard. You can get juice or water from them. Examples of fruits are banana, pineapple, watermelon, mango, pear, strawberry, oranges, guava. We have so many examples of fruits, and we have a lot in season. Some of these fruits, you can get them all through the year, and why some have a particular period of time when you see them in the market. From my picture, by the side of the note, you can see some fruits cut opened. There's pineapple, there's orange, there's a purple, we have grape, we have apple here, we have strawberry, and some other fruits there. Then the last example under this food crop is vegetables. Vegetables are grown for the edible vegetable parts of fruits. We have three classes of vegetables. The first one is the leafy vegetable. The second one is the fruit vegetables, and the third one is the root vegetables. Let me explain. What are leafy vegetables? They are the vegetables that you consume only the leaves from them. You don't eat the seed, we don't eat the root, we eat the leaf because that's the part that is edible. An example of leafy vegetables are your water leaf, your fluted pumpkin that we call ugu, African spinach, tete, shoko, and ewedu. It's a pity that most children don't like leafy vegetables. You people don't like vegetables, but I would like to encourage you to increase the content of vegetable in your meal while at home. It is very, very good. They are rich in vitamins and minerals. Then the second group of vegetable is the fruit vegetables. Examples are the tomato, pepper, garden eggs, and okra. These are examples of fruit vegetables. Then the third one is the root vegetables. Why do we call these root vegetables? Because they are called root vegetables because we uproot them from the soil. It is not the leaf that you feed on, but the root that is being harvested from the soil. So examples of root vegetables are the carrot, the cabbage, onions, and lettuce. So for food crops, we have 5 examples. So let me reiterate. The first example of food crop is the cereals, which I told you earlier on that belong to the grass family, and they produce edible grains. After that, we have the legumes or the pulses, which produce edible grains in pods before they are being separated for our consumption. Then after pulses, we have the tuber crops. Another tuber crops, we have the stem tubers, we have the root tubers. Examples of stem tubers are yam, cocoyam, and potato. The examples of root tubers are cassava and carrot. We also have fruits, which produce succulent fruit for us to eat. Then the last one here is vegetables. Under the vegetables, we have them in 3 classes: the leafy vegetable, the fruit vegetable, and the root vegetable. These 5 points are just examples of one class of crops based on the uses. Let's go to the second class of crop based on the uses. The second one is called the fiber crops. Fiber crops. Fiber crops are used for the production of textile, that is clothing. They are used for the production of rope and sacks that are being used in the market or used at home for packaging. The cotton plant is an example of fiber crops, and we all know what cotton is being used for. You all know what cotton is being used for. It is used in the production of textile, fibers, or fabrics. Then rugs are manufactured from fiber crops. Examples of fiber crops are jute, scissor, hemp, kernel, flax, and then cotton. Though the picture here is not that clear, but there are examples of fiber crops found on the farm. This is for cotton plants. I think this is for flax and some other examples as well. Can you take the slide back, please? The third group is spice crops or condiments. They add flavor, they add taste to our food. Examples are onions, ginger, garlic, nutmeg, and thyme. At times when people cook, from afar off you perceive the aroma of their food. That doesn't mean that food will taste nice or will taste better, but because of the presence of spice crops, you begin to say, wow, that food must be very, very tasty. That food will be sweet just because of spice crops that is being included. When you add onions to your food, when you want to boil meat or you want to boil your chicken, you slice onions into it, people from the get will start perceiving the aroma. Or you are into pastry, you add nutmeg. You want to fry puff puff, you add nutmeg into the dough. From afar off, you perceive the aroma. So also thyme leaves. We also have curry powder. These are all examples of spice crops. Beside the note is a picture of garlic. Though this particular picture here is not clear enough, I'll show you another one. Yes, this is the picture of garlic in the clove and the one that has been brought out. They add flavor, and medically now they told us that garlic and ginger are very, very good because of their anti-inflammatory property. They are good. Ginger and garlic, if you can add them to your food, they prevent cold, catarrh, and cough. So you should be encouraged to take food that contain ginger and garlic. This is the picture of ginger. You can add it to your tomato and pepper whenever you want to grate or grind your pepper. The fourth group of crops based on the uses is oil crops. These are seeds of crops that give us quality cooking oil. We get quality cooking oil from them. Thank God for the enlightenment nowadays on different types of seeds that contain oil, where we can extract quality cooking oil from. Before, it was only palm oil that we all know of. But today, you can cook with coconut oil, you can cook with cottonseed oil, you can cook with sunflower oil as well. They give different aroma, and they're also healthy. Not only palm oil or the normal vegetable oil or groundnut oil, no. We have a lot of crops now with seed that produce quality cooking oil. Yes, this is a picture of palm kernel. You can see two men taking pictures of the oil palm plantation. These are the trees, but these are the fruits from where we get palm oil from. They are ripe already. So how do they process? They remove all the palm kernels, boil for some time, and extract the oil from them. We have latex crops. They are the crops that produce milky liquid from their bark. Example is the rubber tree, which is being tapped. When you cut the bark, what you see is milky liquid coming out from it. And this milky liquid is taken to companies where they process it into so many useful things for us in the house. Tires of vehicles, your plastic bucket, your plastic plates are all made from rubber tree, or they are all made from the milky liquid that is gotten from rubber trees and also gum arabic trees. Then the next one here is forage crops, forage crops. They are usually plants that are given as feed to livestock. We have these plants in two forms. We have the grasses and we have what we call the leguminous forage crops. Grasses, examples of grasses given as forages to farm animals are the guinea grass, the elephant grass, the gamba grass. Examples of leguminous forage crops are mucuna, Stylosanthus gracilis, Puraria, Centrosema, and Fasciolus. Why this big name? They are the botanical name of the leguminous crops. If you have animals, if you rear farm animals, basically the ruminant ones, examples are cattle, goat, and sheep. You feed them with grasses or you feed them with forages. You must not give grasses alone to them. You have to bring in legume. Legumes are proteinous. Grasses will just give them carbohydrates. So that is why animal farmers usually combine grasses and legumes together as feed for their animals. So the legumes substitute protein while the grasses give them carbohydrates. For the guinea grass and the other grasses, they have their own botanical name too, but in our next topic, we'll talk about their botanical name. But for the legumes, we only know of the botanical name, but they are being given to you in short form. Mucuna, that's not the full name, but for it to be easier for you to remember and pronounce. Then Stilo, the full name is Stylosanthus gracilis. Puraria Fasciolus, but for easy pronunciation and for you to remember, I call it Puraria. Then Centrosema, you can call it Centro. So these are some of the classes of crops based on their uses. The list is endless, but for your level or for your class, you only need these few ones. Then someone said, okay, are we going to copy after the class? Yes, she too. When we resume by the grace of God, you will definitely copy the notes. You don't need, then can you go back, Oyibo, can you go back to the first slide after this? Which slide? Shift. Oh, gee. Slide 4. Slide 1. Around this slide 8. Ooh. Ó ti sá lọ. Network kọ́. Attention.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Can I recall? Slide 21. Slide 12.
5 minutes more.
All right.
Let's tell them.
Slide 5, please. Table.
Why is it on? What's it on?
ọmọkùnrin ń bọ̀ wọ́n kọ note JSS1 lélẹ̀ wọ́n slow.
Ẹni ọ̀hún olórí two.
Okay.
Wọ́n check out lórí YouTube yẹn ní fáìlì rẹ̀. You respond to
Some time.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
So if you can watch YouTube later in the day.